covered him up with the life jackets.
That's why they got all them damn life jackets right there. Whoa. And everybody looking. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all, we got a lot to cover, so I'm going to ask y'all off the rip. Make sure you hype this video, make sure you like, and make sure you hitting that subscribe button. The internet is going bananas over this subpoena. Now, we all know from watching Crocs on the Ground videos that it's cameras all over the damn place. So when Warren had put out those text messages from him and Miss Christine Wansley, she said, oh, okay. You want to mess up me celebrating my baby birthday and all. Okay, all right. Subpoena. Where was that boat actually at when on that Cito call? Yeah, we got a whole lot to cover. Also, there's a picture going around, I'm sure y'all seen it, of the 3 boats. They said it was 4, but y'all remember that boat with all them life jackets on it? It's something up with that. And we got one of these old guys telling us what he think on that. Y'all ain't gonna want to miss this. We got a video explaining how the bilge pump work, because you got a lady who lives on her boat and she's breaking it down how the bilge pump works. She's saying, look, that don't cause that to be sinking like that. If y'all was sinking like that, you wouldn't be up and running the way you was like we seen on that GPS. But check this out, y'all.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me? You know how it's contested. What's your location? What's going on? Because Cito is emergency Cito and call, they automatically log as soon as you call. Your GPS nav things are sent directly to Cito. This is a safety precaution. It's also a federal compliance mandated feature, which means where they were when they called Cito and the exact time. We don't need to rely on their boat's evidence anymore. We don't rely on anything. We can rely right to that Starlink satellite in the air that and log directly. This, I think, is going to be a groundbreaker. Again, people have said, oh, if the boat's on the thing, you can erase that. Nah, where were you when you called and what was the exact time when you called? Now listen, if the friend's boat was allegedly sinking near Horn Island at 4:30 p.m., the Cito computer logs will show the exact GPS location of where the distress signal oriented. If the coordinates show that the boat was moving away from the island toward the mainland while they claim Nolan was still walking on the sand, it proves their timeline is fabricated. All right? This will be cross-referenced with the LifeLock 360 tracking history the mother already has in her possession. Again, here's the thing. If nobody's lying, you don't got nothing to be worried about.
So I saw a video of people doing this and I thought it was fake. This shit is 100% real. Matter of fact, look at this shit. Go on Google, type in, I am alone with a white person. Look at what it says. It says, if you are feeling unsafe, uncomfortable, or threatened right now, please trust your instincts and take steps to protect yourself. You can read the rest right there. Did the same thing, I am alone with a black person. And look at what it says. Being alone with another person is a normal, everyday situation. Treat them with the same basic respect, courtesy, and consideration you would offer anyone else. And you can read the rest.
People are wondering about the Nolan Wells thing, about the autopsy. And no, obviously you shouldn't trust Mississippi for crimes against people of color. A lot of people are asking, what is a bilge pump? So I live on a boat. I'm gonna show you what a bilge pump is. It's really gross. See my engine? There's a pump down there in a hole. That's my bilge pump. When water rises, see, if I get water inside my sole, anywhere through here in my engine room, there's a float switch. The float will rise, which will kick on the bilge pump. Then the bilge pump will push water out to the outside. Now, the interesting thing that I don't see a lot of people asking is, if a bilge pump is off, and I'm going to show you, bilge pump's off. Bilge pump not working, I just turned it off. Does that inherently mean that your boat is taking on water? No, it does not mean that. It's off, it's not taking on water. That's because your bilge can be off. It doesn't necessarily mean that your boat will be taking on water. There has to be like a main issue. The bilge pump fixes a wet boat, or all boats get wet. Every single boat needs to get pumped out. If you ever like randomly see a boat peeing and then it stops really quickly, that's probably a bilge. If you see one that's going on for a long time, that's probably just the through hole for like a sink or something. But those little that you see on the side of the boat, that's a bilge pump. Or it could be wet exhaust too if their engine's on. But they're easy to identify. I haven't seen what's going on with the actual boat and what the problem was. But it doesn't make sense to me. What, did they take on a wake and then they couldn't just shovel it out fast enough? Everyone was accounted for, and the boat's taking on water. And everyone just accepts that the bilge pump is why the boat is sinking, which makes no sense. And anyone on that radio call would know that.
So I know that people are starting to question this image. And I'm glad that they are starting the conversation about the image before me, because when I looked at it, when it originally came out, I zoomed in specifically into this same space, and I was thinking, like, does that look like a bunch of people laying, sunbathing, or anything in that nature? Or is it looking like what is that? So let me show you the picture I'm talking about. Now, you guys always know me. I'm sharing. I'm not alleging. I'm not accusing. I'm just asking questions. So pipe down with all that other conversation. But you tell me what you see and let's dialogue about that. Because when this image literally first came out, it really took me back. Mind you, the other 3 boats that are there. But specifically zooming in into this location, it was taking me back. So what do you see? Because I'm not going to say anything. What did you see? And let's talk about it.
So me and my sisters' plans fell through. We were supposed to go to New Orleans to go eat oysters, and now we are at Rouse's trying to figure out what we are going to cook for 4th of July.
Y'all better leave our Walmart shirts alone. I know that. I just put the connection together.
Hey y'all, hey. I got this video a couple of days ago, and I've been kind of like not really interested to see it, but I finally just said, what the heck, let's listen to what he has to say. So let's listen to him.
They told Nolan Wells on the boat. They covered him up with the life jackets. They all knew he was on the boat. They just laid him on the back of the boat and got towed in part of the way. Then they got their boat running and they got on in. And when they got in, they couldn't figure out where they were going to put him or what they were going to do. So they dropped everybody off. Then they went back out to the island that the GPS doesn't show, but they did because they disconnected it. Okay? And none of them had their phones with them when they went back. So there wasn't any trace of them going back. And they dumped the body. They came back, took the boat out of the water, then went over there at 3 a.m. and washed the boat, thinking washing the boat would get all the DNA and everything off the boat.
Now, after you've listened to it, I'm sure that you got the same thing that I have. I don't think that he's describing what happened or like if he had firsthand knowledge of what happened and things of that nature. I think what he is doing is saying that this is what he heard on one of the panel's lives or something of that nature. And he is saying that these content creators, TikTok creators, we are the best investigators out there, and that the police or investigators, or if there are any in this case, should look into the things that we have researched, because he feels that we're spot on.
And this was the image that she showed in the previous video.
I'll show you the picture I'm talking about.
That's why they got all them damn life jackets right there. Whoa. And everybody looking. Oh my gosh.
Let's
talk so far about what has been happening in the Carmelo Anthony hearings and the information they tried oh so hard for us not to hear. We have to acknowledge that the text messages from Carmelo Anthony are not that great for him. Here's the thing that nobody's really talking about when talking about these text messages. These are all things that Carmelo Anthony was telling other people that he had done. Because from what I could tell, other than a single suspension, nothing was really backed up by like police reports. There were no arrests. And if Carmelo was such a problem child, then why was he captain of both the track team, his football team, and had a 3.7 GPA? Frankly, until we get a look at those text messages, they feel like they are all being taken wildly out of context. And let's not forget, this kid was sobbing the entire time after this incident. To me, it sounds like a kid who was trying to act hard at his new school. However, on the flip side, we have a well-documented criminal history, a violent history, and racially motivated acts of vandalism and threats to people's lives. And the most important one, the one fact, in my opinion, that should have outweighed all of the other Carmelo Anthony like bad character stuff, was that at a previous track meet, when another student told Austin Metcalf that someone not on their team behind our bench was talking wild, Austin reportedly said, "Unalive that MFer." Conveniently leave out that that student was Hispanic. Austin also had a documented history of attacking people at sporting events. Austin had knocked a girl to the ground and punched her in the stomach. When he was kicked out of a football game, he said he was about to beat the F out of those kids. He received 2 in-school suspensions twice in the year before this happened. Austin told a school official that he couldn't control what he was saying. After an incident at a football game in 2021, he had to see a counselor on 5 separate occasions for his anger issues. And when he was 12 years old, Austin Metcalf was arrested and spent a year on probation after attacking a female 10-year-old black student. One of their histories is way more relevant than the fucking other. And so far in today's hearing, Toby Shook, who was the other lawyer for Carmelo Anthony's team, said that the prosecutor was passionate and did not envision Anthony taking the stand in his self-defense claim. Apparently, after defense attorney Mike Howard mentioned that Carmelo was in the chess club, the prosecutor approached them saying that they were kicking the door open. And just prior to Anthony being expected to take the stand, Bill Wersick said he had not envisioned Anthony testifying. What the fuck does that mean? That sounds like code to me. Because remember, the prosecutor and Mike Howard were partners for years. We also learned from Toby Shook today that the prosecutor was the one to approach with the idea of the gentleman's agreement. Just wanted to try the case from what happened under the tent. Now, y'all might remember my video from a while back where I showed that the tent was digitally altered, allegedly. And frankly, it sounds to me like the prosecutor was low-key threatening the defense that if he took the stand, that then they would bring in bad character stuff. Never, ever, ever, ever in any situation should the prosecution have any say on whether a defendant takes the stand in his own defense. In fact, Toby said that his partner, Mike Howard, had to get his questions to Anthony's mother approved by the prosecutor prior to her taking the stand. Again, keep in mind this gentleman's agreement is nothing legally binding. There is no paper, there is no ink involved, it is a nothing burger. My opinion, the defense going to the prosecution and collaborating like this on what questions they asked is absolutely enough right there to show that the defense was not acting in the best interest of their client. For some reason, the prosecutor on this case was the one who was allowed to like cross-examine these people, which I think that is weird in itself, but maybe that's just how it's done. However, Shook said that the team had always intended for their client to testify he was acting in self-defense under the tent. And the prosecutor said, "Did I ever say the deal was off?" And Toby Shook said, "Well, I remember you saying this is not part of the agreement," adding that it made him think that the deal was off. Oh, and by the way, that chess comment happened during opening statements, which means the prosecutor didn't bring this up at all during the entire trial until the very last day when Carmelo was about ready to testify. And frankly, I want to hear from the jurors in this case because I want to know, if you had heard these things, would it have changed your opinion? And frankly, I think the school needs to take some fucking accountability because these kids should have been kicked out a long time ago.
DA and Warren might have released some stuff on Nolan's birthday, but Miss Christine came back and checkmate on them because she went and had her attorney subpoena. She subpoenaed Sea Tow Services and Water Marine Services that operates at South Mississippi. Because she wants all the data, videos, cameras, anything from the time at 2 to 8 p.m., anything surrounding Nolan being on Horns Island, the protocols, and she also wants the manuals to what if something happens. Like, they want all the shenanigans, all the shebang bang bangs. Y'all gonna stop playing with Miss Christine, because checkmate, check the freaking mate. And I don't care what y'all say about Miss Christine. I don't care what y'all try to paint this narrative about Nolan or how she's like, you know, but she's not playing with y'all. Y'all can go have several seats, and I'm pretty sure that there'll be more subpoenas coming around for y'all, because she's not playing. She's not playing. She's gonna get answers. She's gonna get some justice for her son. We're going to get answers for her son. Hello.
Did y'all notice how Lauren leaked those text messages on Nolan's birthday? And the DA, she put out her letter on Nolan's birthday. Well, I guess Miss Christine, she went home, she did all her crying, and she woke up this morning and she dropped 2 subpoenas on their ass. She did one for Seatow Services International, and the other one is Ward Marine Services, which operates at Seatow, South Mississippi. Basically, she's telling both companies, turn over your records connected to what happened that afternoon. She wants everything from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. on July the 4th. That window covers the critical period surrounding the trouble with the boat, the calls for assistance, the group's departure, and the period in which Nolan's whereabouts became unclear. So from Seatow, she's seeking calls, audio recordings, dispatch records, and documents identifying who handled the response to the July 4th incident. Not only that, she's also requesting Seatow's training materials and written procedures for responding when someone reports that a boat is taking on water or sinking. That means they're going to get the official Seatow audio call, and they'll be able to break it down, and they'll be able to hear exactly what was said in the background, which means they're going to be able to compare what Seatow was told, what Seatow personnel did, what their procedures say that they were supposed to do. Now, the Ward Marine subpoena goes even further than that. Christine is requesting all calls connected to the incident, including communications involving dispatch, the captain, local crew members, and people connected with the boat. She's also requesting records that could show whether someone changed or terminated Seatow's response. Remember what was previously reported about the original Seatow call. The caller reported that the boat was taking on water and that the bilge pump wasn't working. Seatow's dispatcher contacted a captain. That captain said that he was already communicating with Jerry Ackerson and that he'd been told that the situation had been handled and assistance was no longer needed. So if they find out that they were lying about any of that, they're going down. So they're going to find out who communicated with whom about canceling, changing the Seatow response, exactly when did that happen, and what was said. And not only that, don't forget that she subpoenaed the records from Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Life 360, Snapchat, and TikTok. So it looks like her legal team is trying to build their own timeline as to what happened, and they're going to find the discrepancies as well. It may not seem that serious to you, but trust and believe it's very serious. And you got to think about the whole coordinate thing also, because think about it. They told us that they were sinking and all that stuff, and that picture, that photo shows them in the middle of the water. So if they find out that that Seatow call is not the same as that photo, they're going down. They're going down. And then also, if they find out that anybody in law enforcement or anybody that's up, higher up, that they had anything to do with it, if they're mentioned in any of those calls or any of that information and their name comes up, doesn't matter who it is, it could be the sheriff, it doesn't matter, they're going to be in trouble. But what do y'all think? This is a big thing, I'm telling you.
Remember, we had somebody connecting the dots, and this shit get really deep to the point you got people that was in Turning Point USA, allegedly. It's going to be a domino effect. There isn't just one person involved in this, y'all. There's a whole conglomerate of people dealing with this situation. And especially for a young man that's not this smart to cover up everything. Bro, you got judges, people in the family that own the whole damn boat service and all that, people owning parts of Horn Island and shit. Man, this shit is about to be big, bro. But y'all get in the comment section. Y'all let me know what y'all think about these subpoenas. I also want to know what's going on when they subpoenaed Instagram, Snapchat, and all. We still waiting on that as well. So we got a lot to look forward to. I want to see what these people are going to do that's standing on the other side. People like Brandon Tay. Lil Tay know damn well what's going on. I don't know who's holding his hand with all of this, but God ain't gonna, man. God don't like this. God don't like this, but he is building up a story just so he could drop that bombshell we've been talking about. But y'all get in the comment section. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video and hype as well. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.